Photographing boring places has almost become a bit of a buzz phrase over the last few years. I even once made a video titled Why I Love Photographing Boring Places, and although I totally still stand behind the sentiment because most are trying to show that you can take great photos anywhere and you don't need to be traveling around the world to world-class hotspots in order to create meaningful work. But given we can also always take boring photos in world-class locations too, something I truly believe is that boring places for photography don't really exist at all. Some places are breathtaking, loud and dramatic, others are quiet, simple and maybe even ordinary to us personally. But labeling anywhere a boring place, whether it is loud and dramatic or whether it's a quiet, understated location, I don't think is really correct. So if we do take a boring photo anywhere in the world, wherever we may go, it's not down to a location being boring for photography, it's down to the fact that we as photographers perhaps failed to make it interesting or find something interesting. Taking a look at this image here, I would say this is a boring photo. We do have some snow, which is kind of nice. You could even argue, if you really wanted to, that it portrays silence or something along those lines. But let's label it a boring photo. That photo isn't boring because I'm in a boring place. It's boring because I failed to make that place interesting. It's boring because realistically, it's just a photo taken across a field with no real subject matter or point to the image. Dedicated hardcore viewers of my channel that have had their eyes locked on the photos and videos that I make will know that's not actually the real photo that I took on that day. I removed something from it for this example. So let's put that back in, and there's a distinction I want to make here. Now we've got the real photo on screen, it's definitely clear that this photo is not loud, it's not in your face, it's not got mountains, crashing waves, or a crazy viewpoint. And just because it's void of those things, it still doesn't make that area a boring place for photography. But we've now, in my opinion, taken something that yes would have been boring and it would have been my fault that I shot that boring photo, and turned it into something that is yes quiet, understated, it's relaxed and calming, but boring, I don't think it is boring at all. And I know this is going to have personal preference tied to it a bit, because you might hate horses, you might hate the snow, you might find that photo boring. But in comparison to the real actual boring photo that has no real subject matter or elements, it's definitely not down there with the most boring photos in the world. So now let's bring up this photo that has some of those elements that typically get associated with exciting places. We've got the ocean, the castle there, we've got all these cliff edges, and even if you don't like landscape photography or castles, I think it's quite clear to see why this photo typically would never be labelled as a boring place by most people. But that doesn't mean that you couldn't still take a very boring photo in that location. So we can take a boring photo here and we can also take a boring photo here. Does that mean that both of those places are now boring for photography? No, it means we simply failed to take an interesting photo at both of those places. Let's put this photo alongside this photo now. One is obviously loud, dramatic and intense. The other is quiet, intimate and understated. But neither, in my opinion, are particularly boring. But in comparison to this photo from before where we actually removed the horse, that is very boring. So the difference I feel we actually have at play here isn't boring places versus exciting places. It's actually dramatic places versus quieter places. And ironically, it's often photos took in those louder, more dramatic places that actually require less from the viewer. Like this shot, I feel it doesn't require as much from the viewer because it slaps you in the face straight away with ocean, castles and cliffs. But I feel this one requires a lot more attention from the viewer to break down the smaller details within the photograph. So in my opinion, nowhere is actually boring for photography, but we can take boring photos anywhere in the world, and it's down to us to take interesting photos anywhere in the world. With that ramble out the way, something that may help you take more interesting photographs no matter where you go, whether you're in these more quiet, understated places, because realistically, that is the reality for most of us not traveling around the world, etc., etc., is keeping in mind, really looking for and seeking out either a unique setting with a normal subject or a unique subject in a normal setting. That was a little bit of a mouthful, so let me explain with a couple of images. This skip lorry here is not a particularly interesting vehicle. We probably see them and walk past them in everyday life without a second thought, especially on just a normal road. But here it is sat in the middle of a woodland surrounded by trees, and suddenly to me that becomes interesting. It doesn't really belong there. Well, it might, but it's not typically the place you would associate with a skip lorry. And it's that friction between the setting and the subject that to me makes me stop and want to take a photo. And that's why I seek these things out even when I may be in understated locations. And that's the thing to remember. In this case, it's the combination of the setting and the subject that brings the photo together. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, it doesn't have cliff edges, ocean and castles and stuff like that we spoke about before. It doesn't even really have particularly nice lighting going on in this frame, but it's a normal everyday vehicle we see all the time in a contrasting or different setting than we're used to seeing it in. So it's a normal subject sitting in a unique location. So if we lose the interesting setting there, I feel that's when it becomes a boring photo. So if that skip lorry was just parked outside at the front of my office on the street doing a delivery and I snapped a photo of it on a normal road where it should be, I feel that would be pretty boring unless there was something very unique going off that we'll come on to later on in this video. On the flip side of that, we can also look for the opposite. So this old rusted van, I would personally say, is a pretty unique subject. It's interesting to me at least, and no matter where this van is parked in the world, I would probably want to take a photo of it. If I saw this in a supermarket car park, I'd want to take a photo of it. It doesn't need to be somewhere unusual because the subject is interesting on its own. It has a lot of texture and colours, and that's enough to make that interesting anywhere that it may be parked. So that right there, I feel, is our unique subject in somewhat of a normal place, because like I say, I could photograph that van anywhere in the world. Funnily enough, the other week I actually spotted this old camper van that had different countries' flags painted all over it, and it was all battered and beat up, parked in an Audi supermarket car park. And unfortunately I didn't have a camera on me, but I wanted to take a photo of it. I spotted it, and despite the fact that it was somewhere that is very everyday and people would class as a boring location, we can still take photos anywhere. So how can that location be boring if we've got the element that creates an interesting image? So something else you can look out for when you are in these quiet, understated places that most of us find ourselves in most regularly, and we're not on a cliff edge at sunset, is the proof of human life or existence within a frame in these normal places. I think this is actually becoming my all-time favorite reason to take a photograph and the thing that catches my eye more than anything else. I will say though, this one is definitely leaning into personal preference more than anything else, because if you simply don't like having human elements or human things or anything like that in your images, then I can understand that. But for those of you that do, let's jump into this. And for those of you that don't, maybe give yourself a challenge to go and seek those things out and see how you feel about it. Here we have this old harbour type building, pretty normal again. It's not dramatic or over the top. There's no mountains or cliff edges. While the building would have definitely caught my eye and I probably would have took a photo of it anyway, what actually made me really want to take the frame at that time was the cones in the image. Like, why are these cones even needed here? One's fallen over, which is kind of funny. Nobody planned that, nobody put them there thinking, oh, somebody would come along and take a photo of this. And I feel that's the most charming part because it makes it real. When you think about it, it says that a human had to be there, they had to come along and they had to put them cones there. One of them's perhaps fallen over in the wind, or maybe a car bumped it, who knows. But the cones to me say it's planet Earth. It's not polished to perfection, it's a small detail, and it does again require a bit more from the viewer to appreciate it and really look around and think about the image. Personally for me, if those cones weren't there, it would shift the photo further towards boring. I probably still would have taken a photo of that building, it could have still been interesting, but without the cones, I do think it would have shifted closer to that boring photo benchmark. And that is not because that is a boring place. It's not a boring place to do photography. It's down to us to have the attention and notice when we're out there, anywhere in the world, these small details that create images that aren't boring. Same thing here, balloons tied to a fence next to a street sign, completely random. I don't think I actually shot this image very well, but I'm putting that aside for this video because it still says, oh, there must be a party around here somewhere, or was it somebody's birthday recently, or did somebody tie these balloons here just for a laugh because they were bored? You don't know why they're there, but they still tell you that humans had to be present for that to happen. And if you take the balloons away from that particular image, it would be a very, very boring image. But that doesn't mean that country roads with street signs and fences are boring places for photos. You could have that same scene without the balloons, and maybe there's, again, a horse in the background. Maybe there's particular weather conditions that are going on that are actually making that fence and street sign seem quite interesting or elusive. I've also referred to these photos in the past as photos that have a temporary addition to them, and they're absolutely everywhere in everyday life. It's our job to pay attention and notice them. I've shown this one on my channel before, I believe, this woodland forestry area that has this path closed or road closed sign. That's a temporary addition because you know that's going to be taken away at some point. But if you remove that from the photo, it's like, meh, it's just a path running through a woodland that is normal, dare I say, a boring image. But that doesn't mean that area is boring for photographs because look, I've found this unique temporary addition. So to conclude, these details are everywhere in everyday life, and it is our job really to notice them and think about how we can incorporate them into a photograph. Or if we are faced with a particular scene that's really flat, how can we then work that scene to make it more interesting no matter where you are in the world? Boring places for photography do not exist, but we can absolutely take a boring photo from time to time. There's a big difference there. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share in this video this week. Hopefully it all made sense, hopefully it resonated, and hopefully you learned something. I really appreciate you watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.